Hello everyone, welcome back to this new episode on this Ateez members series. I want to continue with San, Choi San, and so the previous member that I did was the bearded boy, Songwa. So now it's San's turn. What I have seen a little bit about his energy, his spirit chart, which is really interesting because he is the one that I always mentioned that he has a moon. He has a sun, a natal sun in Cancer. So he is the one that is a Cancer sign. His solar sign is in Cancer, and there are three members that are moon in Cancer. So, but he is the original Cancerian guy in the group, and his moon is in Gemini, which there are a lot of moon in Geminis in the group too. So, like I have already mentioned. Um, so let's see a little bit about the archetype cards that came out regarding his personality traits. The one card that came out first is Mystic, Whisperer, and Scribe. So obviously, this first card talks a lot about his spiritual side. Um, him being a cancer sign makes a lot of sense because Cancer energy is very spiritual. Is very, I wouldn't say they are spiritual, but they are like they are born with a gift, and actually, that gift is to be an empath, to have the ability to empathize with others, and at the same time to be able to connect with others' energy, which sometimes can be a little bit draining and a little bit like um not um so happy because they are like you imagine them as a sponge, a human sponge, where they absorb everything when it comes from others. So sometimes for them it's really hard to detach themselves from what others are feeling because they have this connection with everyone else's energy, which can be a little bit um, like hard to deal with in a daily basis. So they definitely need to build some kind of routine when it comes to spiritual practices, or maybe meditation, yoga, or I don't know, wearing crystals, or um, if they are religious, maybe saying a little prayer, something that can help them to transmute this energy and get back to their own root, and ground themselves so they don't get contaminated by others' energy. But at the same time, it's really nice because they tend to be really empathic towards others' feelings. They are really emotional. They are really open to talk about emotions, so it's really nice. And when we think about the mystic archetype, it talks a lot about this communication with the universe, with the different energies, with being connected somehow to the universe and to the divinity, and to have this a special gift to be always in tune with the universe, and with the signs, with with all kinds of different vibrations when it comes to energetic fields. So he can be a healer. He can be really good at channeling energies, or maybe transmuting other people's energy, just because he's really aware that he's this sponge, this human sponge. So somehow he has to find a way to regulate this gift, so he can um, use his energy to be a better version of himself, because sometimes he's so focused on helping others that maybe sometimes he forgets a little bit about himself. So that's why he needs to ground himself always. Um, and when we think about the whisperer, it's actually someone that I always that think about the whisperer. I always think about his moon in Gemini, that it's really characteristic of a moon in Gemini to be the communicator, to be the one that is always talking, that is always making conversation. They are really playful, they are really curious, they are really interested in knowing everything, and they are always excited to gain more knowledge about things and to share with others. So when it comes to the whisperer, and if you also like put it together with the archetype of the mystic, it talks that maybe through his words, through his way of communication, he has the ability to heal others. Maybe if he sees someone that is going through a rough time, maybe him with his words, or maybe with an advice or some kind of information, he can transform that person's energy and make them feel better. So that's a wonderful gift that he has on his hands. Of course, the whisperer has the ability to communicate and to share information. So it always depends on the person, and it depends on how they use that information that they have. But in the case of him, actually, it's not a bad trait. It's not a negative trait because next to that, he has the scribe. So the scribe is also someone that gathers information. It's also someone that is manages a lot of information, but somehow is able to hold that information, write it down, and create stories about it, and maybe write poems, lyrics, just express it on a paper. So he can be a potential a very good writer. Um, and I that's also very moon in Gemini. Also, um, I believe that sometimes when you are a moon in Gemini, some of your ideal career paths that you can follow are to be a journalist, or to work in to be a writer or somehow, but to always be a communicator. So maybe for him, it would be really interesting and really nice to use this gift to be good with words, to be good with communicating and getting. And he has this ability to touch people with his words. So he can also be like a motivational speaker of some kind. So but it depends on how he wants to use this resource. He has a lot of potential to be really successful, and the good thing is that probably he could also write his own biography, because I have the feeling that since he is a Cancer, he wouldn't be writing about someone else's business. He more would want to write about his memories, or memories that he had shared with others, because he tends to be a little bit nostalgic about the past. So maybe writing a story about his own experience and his own past, or where the story of his family, where he comes from, for him would be really healing, a very healing process. Um, and also, um, it's nice that the last card that came out is a scribe, because it somehow is a very positive trait to be able to write things down and not to spread the information, or maybe not to be so eager to share with others, because sometimes moon in Geminis, as I always am talking about moon in Geminis, because it seems like in idols this moon is really present. So I have talked about BTS Jimin with moon in Gemini. I have done lately Jungho and he is a Gemini moon as well. The leader is a Gemini moon as well. I believe that the next member that I'm going to do is no, he is a Gemini, but he has a moon in Cancer. He's like, his energies are opposite from what Sun is, but I will explain later in the other video. But there are a lot of idols that share this trait, this astrological trait, and it's amazing to see that it can go really well if they use it for a good cause, or it can turn into a very annoying kind of trait, because sometimes moon in Geminis, they have so much information, they have so much knowledge in their head that somehow they don't know how to contain it, and they sometimes can have this tendency to maybe share information with others, especially to talk about others people's business, which can make them a little bit of a gossipy person, which is not really nice. But somehow, for instance, case is not, it doesn't work that way, which I'm really happy, because I mean, we all can have this trait of being gossipy, or to talk about someone else's business, because we are human. Uh, but somehow when you see it in the dynamic of a group, you're like, oh, I hope you're not that one. I hope that you're not that one in the group that does this, that delivers these small pieces of information, and then hell breaks loose and everyone starts arguing, because there are people that are really extrovert. I have the feeling that in the case of ATs, all of them have this energetic, they have a lot of Cancer energy also, which it means that they can be a little bit sensitive sometimes, but somehow they also have other energies that are more like spontaneous and funny. So I don't see them holding grudges between each other. Actually, they are sensitive, but at the same time I see them being able to like move on from, maybe if there's a misunderstanding, uh, they would move on pretty easily, because none of them is very like, gets really like in his feelings about getting offended or something like that. So let's move on to the tarot cards that came out for San. That this is a reading that it's about 3 to 6 months. Since we are already in April, I have a feeling that this reading maybe will have an influence on the 3 months from now, maybe till July. Because we are already near. I done these general readings um to cover like the first half of the year, and then I will do like a part two that would be from July or August uh to the um, to the end of the year kind of reading. That would be part two. So this reading that I do right now, the tarot reading, actually it talks about this first half of the year. So it can be from now to 3 months. The cards that came out for him is the King of Wands, the Ace of Coins, the Four of Wands, the Star, the Five of Cups, the Four of Swords, the Magician, the Strength, the Four of Coins, and the Seven of Swords. So I see that he's definitely someone that is really passionate. He has a lot of stamina. He has a lot of energy. He has Mars in Scorpio as well, so he's really expressive with his body, and he is able to move his body in a very powerful and energetic way. I have talked a lot about the Mars in Scorpio energy, especially in BTS members, because they are the first ones that I came across. So I have seen and studied their birth charts. But when it comes to San and other members that also, other Ateez members have Mars in Scorpio, so that's why they are so memorable, and they are so outstanding and so impressive when it comes to energy on when they perform. It's like you cannot take your eyes away from them because they are so mesmerizing. You are so memorized by them, and at the same time they are so hypnotic. And it's like wow, it's like wow. There's also a lot of Aries energy in them, so they are definitely fighters. They are warriors. It's like whenever they are on stage, it seems like they're going for a battle. It seems like they're going to war almost, because they are so um intense, and they are so powerful that you can feel their energy through the screen. I think that's one of the many things that caught my attention personally, in my opinion and in my experience. When I see them for the first time, it caught my attention, the level of energy that I'm not saying that the rest of the boy groups don't have it, they do have it, but they have this desire to be expressive, to be raw, to be wild, to be unforgettable. So it's all about energy moving. It's not about, oh, I'm looking pretty here. Oh, yes, please, cameraman, get me from my best angle, because my outfit is really pretty, and my makeup is really good and my hair looks amazing. No, they are actually like a force. They have this energy that is not about the movement. Even you cannot describe it, I cannot describe, but um they portray so much emotion in and so much masculinity, and at the same time so much art in their performance that is really hard to look away. And it's almost as if you are getting excited while watching them, and after you're done watching them, it's like you're like, wow, what's going on? Because it feels like, since it's so exciting to watch them because they put so much energy, it's almost like you get energized as well. So it's like after you're done watching a performance of them, it's like you end up gasping, like gasping for air, like what's going on? Like it's really exciting. It's really exciting. I'm glad that they are working still to keep that energy up, because that's really characteristic of them. But at the same time, I want them to be, especially San, because I always worry about San. I don't want him to break his small body, please. I mean, I know he's flexible, but sometimes I fear for him. I fear for him. That boy is not human. He's like an elastic man or something like that. So in the first period, I have the feeling that they are going to feel really, especially him, he feels really energetic because he is the king of wands, so he is really passionate, and he feels really good when it comes to physically. He feels this energy and this desire to celebrate and to be celebrated, also to be on TV, to be doing presentations. Actually is what motivates him the best. He is a born entertainer, so he enjoys this. He's really happy about it. It's his moment to shine. But at the same time, in the later, we see that we have the Five of Cups, the Four of Swords, and the Magician. So there's this almost period where he will feel his energy be a little bit down, and he will need to rest to recover. But actually, this doesn't have to do necessarily with his physical force, or maybe with everything that they are doing right now. It has to do with some kind of disappointment, and it's actually very emotional somehow. Um, So I don't know. I have said that there's something about that show that I don't like. I haven't seen yet. I mean, I'm not following entirely Kingdom, but I have the feeling that there's going to be something about because Stray Kids also had it. There's all there's this feeling of disappointment that maybe they wish they would like I don't know, get some kind of recognition or something like that, and somehow they won't. So he feels really hurt by it, and he somehow feels like a little bit down because he was really excited at the beginning, and then he starts to see how everything is developed, and he's like, oh no, and he's thinking about, oh, we missed this opportunity. Like, I don't know what he means by that, but it's like he's looking at the opportunities that they missed instead of seeing that there's still other doors to be open for them. So maybe he was hoping something from this experience and somehow it doesn't fulfill. So but he has the magician at the end, so it means that no matter what happens, he definitely needs to rest and recharge. He cannot push himself like he always does. He needs a proper rest, physical rest, because he pours a lot of energy and he needs to recharge. And since we have the magician here, it means that he somehow has control over this sadness that somehow and disappointment that he will face because he has this ability to heal himself somehow. But nevertheless, it's something that is going to impact him because he will feel really sad, really not sad but disappointed. Like, oh, I thought we were doing great. What's going on here? So I don't know what is it about, but there's something fishy about that show. I don't know why. That's why I feel a little bit like apprehensive when it comes to this, but at the same time I know better things will come for them, so I'm happy somehow, but I'm still not understanding what is this disappointment, what's going to happen. That I don't know. And then the other cards that are in the bottom is the strength and the five of coins. So yes, there's going to be a sense of lacking, like lacking opportunities, or like everything they gain somehow is not enough. So he will try to maintain, to be, to gather strength and to be as positive as he can be, but somehow he will feel like they are in a period where maybe things are not working out really well like they hoped. I believe that this is not only about the show, it's not about Kingdom. I think it also talks about the pandemic situation. I feel that that's why a lot of um, a lot of idols feel this, somehow they feel happy in a side, and in the other side they have this feeling of true sadness and disappointment. So he will try to maintain himself and to be as hopeful as he can be because he is a warrior. He has this ability to rise, this ability to it's like he talks to himself. I don't know why I have this feeling that he talks to himself a lot. Like he's very self-reflective. He reflects on himself a lot. So he's like, oh, you shouldn't be like this. Or you shouldn't be doing this. Or you shouldn't be thinking like this. But somehow he feels sad. He feels sad. There's something about missing opportunities that he feels that is not fair. Like somehow opportunities had been taken away from them, but um, it's not entirely true. It's like everything is developing somehow the way it's meant to be for them to, like I said, they had been working non-stop. They had been doing everything they could in their power and in their strength to show themselves and to show what they are about. But somehow when recognition doesn't happen or doesn't come, that easily, or maybe when they expected it to be. um, I know it must be hard for them because somehow it hurts your pride a little bit, because you're like, yes, everyone is praising us, everyone is saying that we are really good at what we do, but somehow we don't see the results. Like it's like they feel the love that the fandom has for them. They feel the love that other celebrities has expressed directly to them, like, oh, I watch your videos, I watch your performances, oh guys, you're amazing. And somehow it's like they are in this state of lacking. Like, I don't know if maybe the company they are in, they are lacking when it comes to financial stability. Like, maybe they are not getting paid what they should or what they really need. Like, money is really tight. So it's like they feel really hopeless because they want to produce more, they want to produce content, but somehow they don't have the influence enough. They don't count with maybe important brands or important investors, or I don't know, people with influence and money that can somehow finance them or maybe promote them somehow. So they do need, that's why they are working extra hard, because they are like, oh yes, we should expose ourselves and be out there, so a lot of people, a lot of more people can get to know us and know what we are about and that we are good. But somehow it's like the economic side is really tight, so maybe that's why he feels like they are lacking, because I don't see that they are lacking in when it comes to talent. They are lacking with opportunities. So that's what I was saying when I did the leaders reading. That's what when I referred that they are not being promoted enough. They need more promotion. And actually, that's not even like the fandom's fault, because the fandom does everything for them. So they are really united, they are really supportive. So I believe that maybe for iteenies are, it's also somehow it's annoying that somehow the boys are not being more uh, they are not being valued as they should, so I don't know. So if there's any ITN, I would appreciate if you could give me like some kind of feedback or insight when it comes to their economic or the economic status of their company or where they come from, because there's something about money here that is not, it's not working for them. At least that's what I feel that the disappointment comes from. And then the last card is the Seven of Swords. So yes, there's, he somehow is going to remove himself from all this disappointment. It's like he's going to retreat, to go within himself to recover from this disappointment. That is like he just will do what he has to do or what he is told to do, but he somehow will lose a little bit of motivation, because like I said, they had been working non-stop. So, and they had been trying to be as flexible as possible when it comes to sorting things out and to fixing things and to be always ready to go and um to ready to make things work, despite of them not having the enough support or maybe the enough time to practice. Or it's like they are really professional, that's all I can say. They somehow make it work, and somehow the the possibilities, or maybe the resources that they count is really minimum. Sometimes it seems like they are like juggling with opportunities. They are like, oh yes, we should do this to avoid this, and it's like they are fixing it themselves in the same time that as this is happening. So it's like they are containing this trying to make things work when it comes to keeping everything together in the group, like trying to make it everything harmonizing and synchronic. And sometimes it's a lot of struggle. Sometimes it's like I said, it's not about the physical aspect, it's about the mind. It's that sometimes you find yourself really exhausted mentally because you're trying to think about all the possible possibilities that everything could go wrong, but somehow you are like, oh no, I need to be completely in tune and aware that in the case of something doesn't work, I have to come out and fix it, and I have to fill this void here and try to help the other member here so he doesn't mess up either. So it's a lot of responsibilities, and it's a lot of mind, constantly moving, his mind always thinking, and his body trying to match his mind. So sometimes he needs to cool down a little bit, calm down. Don't don't force yourself, because such a because with the card of the magician, it's like he has this strength within himself that is, it's not only physical, it's also very spiritual, and it's also very energetic when it comes to maybe his chakras. He's really in tuned. So he's not human actually. I have the feeling that he's not human. He's really special in that sense. He has this inner force. I don't know how to say it, but it's like he has this survivor mode. It's like he will make it no matter what. He can be hurt, he can be in pain, and he will make it, and you will not even tell that he's hurt, or that he is having some kind of pain, or I don't know, if he hurts himself somehow, you will not even notice it, because that's how good he is. But somehow he needs to calm down himself a lot and not to push himself so much. That's what the Mars in Scorpio sometimes does to them. They they take their bodies to the extreme, in a sense that maybe they are feeling sick, or maybe they are not feeling their best, and they still will perform like their life depends on it. So sometimes they will give like a 110, and their bodies is really tired. Their body's like, come on, I need to rest. This is what sometimes had happened to BTS Jungkook. He has a Mars in Scorpio, and he has also this tendency of like performing to exhaustion, to be like performing to his best until he cannot do it anymore, and he just collapses, because it's a way of his body to say, hey, I'm going to shut down anytime soon, because I need to rest, I'm not feeling well. So sometimes for them it's not really easy to 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 sometimes um do a check-in on their body and being like, I'm not feeling okay today, maybe I need to rest a little bit more. They just want to do it. It's like saying, like I was saying earlier, like, I'm going to go to war, and I'm going to give my all and leave everything on the battleship, on the battlefield. And sometimes they're so extreme in that sense that it's really hard to make them come into senses. Like, like, you maybe are not feeling okay, maybe you should rest, and they just cannot understand what there is, to rest, to lay down. They don't understand, because they have so much energy that they don't think it's an option to rest and to lay down and not do anything. They need to give their all the time, because they are that passionate. So that's something that he really needs to control, you know, because he's amazing. We love him and we want him to keep going, but not to exhaust himself or push himself to the fullest. So then he can hurt himself somehow. So I will finish my reading here, guys. I hope that you do enjoy it, and please, if you do, please give it a like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. So I will see you in the next video. Bye.